Kung ikaw ay masaya, kung ikaw ay masaya, welcome! Huwag kayong mag-alala. Ako lang to, ako lang to, ako lang to, ako lang to
including the wise
magpapakamatay.
calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Nagkasaltik siya, bro. Ako lang to! Kalma, kalma! Maraming salamat! Thank you for supporting my dad, bro! Thank you so much! See you on the heaven! Bye-bye! See you on heaven! See you on the other side! I will miss you all! I will miss every one of you! Shala, hey!
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Hindi naman, wala naman parang multong nangyayari dito. Parang, namatay lang sila sa katangan. sorry. Hindi, lahat naman tayo mamamatay, guys. Paunahan ako sino. Malay nyo, bukas patay na ako. Diba? Hindi, walang multo eh. Walang multo sa ano na to eh, sa game na to eh. Kumbaga, sarili lang nila din yung ano nila, problema nila. Yung bata, aksidente yun eh. Parang, pero medyo di ko alam kung ano yung ba yung pagkakamali nila doon, pero aksidente kasi nangyari. Hindi naman din inaasahan ng nanay. Sino ba naman may nanay na gusto mamatay yung anak? Syempre, di ba wala. Aksidente lang talaga. Nakulangan lang sa attention, mas nauna lang niya yung telephone. Pinabayaan niya na matagal yung baby dun sa loob ng bathtub eh. No, sayang. Ay, meron na naman tayong paakyat dito oh. Meron na naman tayong paakyat oh.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Namatay na yung dalawa natin, tito. Namatay yung
At
dalawang
the time,
kapatid natin.
it was as far away as she could get.
Sino pa susunod? Tapos eto si Buntis, nagrarapeling pa. Di mo, laki ng tiyan ni Buntis, 22 weeks yung siyang buntis. Uy, Holy Bible. Magdasal-dasal nga tayo kasi kanina kayo, tumatawa kayo sa jump shot eh, bago
Religion
mamatay
was
eh.
another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. I can't imagine what it was like for her to lose 2 sons after she'd already lost 2 brothers.
Isipin mo, namatayan siya ng 2 son, na pagkatapos siya mamatayan ng 2 kapatid, sino susunod?
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Si Dad, Sanjay. Oh, ang ganda, ano? Ganyan, ano, may parang, sarap na ito sa bahay, may ganyan ko, tapos, maggaganto ko, no? Alam mo yung mga bahay nila, challenging eh. Yung alam mong mamamatay ka, pero okay lang, masaya naman. Whee! Alam mo yung mga ikapapahamak mo, yan, ganyan ilagay nyo sa mga bahay nyo. Masaya naman. At least masaya naman.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus,
Oh,
who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at
Uy,
least not very
saranggola
hard,
naman.
before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Okay. Dito naman ako. Uy, kunin natin yung mga words. At pagsasama-samahin natin yan. Para makabuo tayo ng masasamang mga words. Babalik na rin natin yan.
My father
okay.
made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Okay. My father made him, of course, but his God stood apart. And battle the kite. Ayun, kita nyo itong saranggola na to, kaya niya pabalik na rin yung mga words na yan. O sige, ikaw nababasa mo ba yan? Dahil mahilig ka magbalik-baliktad ng mga words eh. Epas dito, atabs yan. Ito pa, anong sulat yan? We. Dito sa I tried yan eh.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I
now
remember.
pronounce you husband and
Ha?
wife.
Mayroon palang kinakasal dun. Saan yung kinakasal? Ay no. Woo! Woo! Nagsasaranggola kami kinakasal. Tinabaw yung saranggola ko yun, no? Sampid. Papasampidin natin doon sa kinakasal. Itigil ang kasal! Walang kasal na magaganap! Itigil! Tutol ako! Whee! Wait. Okay.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Oh, fuck you! Oh, when the time of photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined as he signed of middle finger. Bakit mo kasi ako pinapapunta dyan? Kita mo nagsasaranggola ako dito eh. Napakyo ang katuloy. Nangaagaw ng trip, pinagsasaranggola nga
The
siya
wind
yo.
picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Appeared and quickly went, but all the humans did that go aside the bed. Sige, saranggola ka pa, lili pa rin yata ito eh. Isipin mo yan, nagsasaranggola ka habang umuulan, no? Ano ba tong saranggola mo? Waterproof? Ayun na. May bagyo pa, bro. Ayan na. Naku po, eto na ang
Rain
wind.
came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
The pain came down in the buckets, then no one seems afraid that nature might destroy the tent or that crudely made. Ayun na! Ito na ang ipo-ipo!
Thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Isipin mo ha, bumabagyo na pero nagsasaranggola pa rin siya. Pag ito tinamaan ng kidlat, sisigaw tong Volta. Whee! Ako si Volta. I wish that. Ayun na. Holy shit. Ayun na, naku po. Saranggola pa more bro. Ayun, patay. Cause of death.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day.
Ooh.
Out there on the beach alone. Just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Ayun. Cause of death. Nilipad sa maling tao. Ang inang pamilya to. Lahat namatay! Diyos ko, Lord!
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Si Gus. Baka si Gus sa Bilgas yan. Napunta na natin eh. Ay, to.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
Ito pala may
When my
handa.
dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go.
Si Don. Si
I'm sure
Louis.
Edie was happy to have her back.
Yung ganda ng bahay nila, taas nila.
The house had to get a
sarap.
little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
Oh.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Mas, ganda ng bahay nila, ng taas. So,
But it
tapos,
didn't last.
but it didn't last. Ano kayo nangyari?
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Sarado yun. Okay, silipin muna natin. Milton. Sino si
After Milton
Milton?
disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Si Milton, nawala din si Milton. Isipin mo yun, kung hindi ka mamamatay, nawawala yung pamilya nila. Ganda ng bahay nila, no? Astig. Maganda nga yung bahay, pero hindi ko trip kasi lahat ng mga ganitong bahay namamatay. Pero ang ganda ng kwarto nyo. Yung box niya na sa ilalim, ang ganda.
I think Edie was
angas.
happy to finally have another painter in the family.
Ito tayo. Oh. Ito si Milton. Milton. Ano kaya kinamatay ni Milton? Milton, pre, ano kaya namatay mo? Pero silipin muna natin yung view niya. Ang ganda ng view niya, no? Gusto ko ng ganito pag nagkaroon ako ng bahay. Pero ayoko pang mamatay, eh. Kasi pag ganito yung mga bahay mo, baka mamamatay din ako eh. Ganyan lang, gusto ko lang makita yung ano, yun know, yung mga stars pag gabi, tas pag umuulan, ganyan. Ano kaya ang kinamatay ni Milton? Tingnan natin.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Oh. Ay, ang galing! May yung talent niya, no? Magic paintbrush. Ang haba naman ng mga ano na to. Isipin mo yun. Dinetalye niya dito yung pag-paint niya. Ay, parang pintuan yung ginagawa niya. Saan papunta? Pintuan nga. Sheesh. Oh. Milton Peach. Ayun. Ayun si
I was 4 when
Milton.
Milton disappeared.
Kaso natatandaan niyo pa ba yung
Mom
pinuntahan
spent
natin?
months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Mom spent searching for my brother. Ewan ko, bakit saan napupunta yung mga, ano, yung mga tao?
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Kung hindi mamamatay yung mawawala, mamamatay. Akit pa tayo sa taas. Tingnan natin kung ano pa meron dito sa may taas. Galing yata tayo dito sa taas eh.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself.
Edie.
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room.
Ah,
Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
tingnan natin pa. Kanino bahay to? Kay Lewis. Ito kay Lewis oh.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room.
Ay,
Except Louis.
ganda ng kwarto niya. Meron pang ano ah. May boga pa doon sa loob ah. Baka hindi dito dyan. Ito. Ganda ng ano niyo. Sobrang chill lang oh. Pero delikado kasi puro kahoy lang yan. Tapos dyan ka lang oh. Titingin ka lang dyan. Oh. Oh. Sheesh. I like this one. May sisha bro. May sisha.
Louis's
Sun
room
one.
smelled very, very familiar.
Oh,
That
ano
part of
amoy?
him lived on.
Ano amoy ng kwarto ni Lewis? Oo nga, so may computer ko. Yun, sarap dito! Ganyan ka magko-computer, tas ganyan view mo. Sana all! Tapos bigla may lumabas sa airplane dyan sa'yo. Naku po, delikado. Pero ang ganda ng kwarto niyo, no? Pinapakita. Uy, may certificate pa siya. Saan siya graduate? High school diploma. Oh, at least nakatapos siya ng high school. Bago siya mamatay. Streamer pala to si Louis eh. Ito.
Dear Mrs. Finch,
Ay na.
as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can
Psychiatrist.
understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Okay, ito tayo. Ito si Luis. Papakita
He kept
yung
working at the
pagkapatay
cannery.
niya. Wee. He kept working at the cannery. Wee! Isda! Wee! Ito mga fish.
But he withdrew part of himself.
Pa! Oh. Nahati-hati na. Ang dami na. Teka lang. Isa-isa lang. Ang trabaho. Oh.
In
Pupulunin
our
natin
sessions,
yan.
I saw the same behavior.
Our session, I saw in sync.
His mind began to
To ano? To what? What? What happened to my mind? What up? Baka puputulin ko rin kamay ko. Chop natin yung kamay. What happened to my
Wonder.
mind? Ayun, his mind began to wander. Okay? Ang galing oh. So, ito rin ako rin nagko-control nun habang nag-aayos ako ng ano. Ang galing din, no?
I asked him to describe it.
Ay, simple. Nabaliw si Lewis. May
He
pasit.
said he started small.
Isipin mo, habang naggaganyan ako ng isda, pinapalakad ako sa right side ko. Oh, sige nga. Di kaya. Di mo. Di ba hiwa? Di hiwa. Oops! Tanga! Oops! Ay, sayang. Oops! Tanga! 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 Di mo mahiwa yan. Oops! Teka. Oh! Sausaw, suka, maulit. Taya! Sausaw. Sausaw. Sausaw, suka, maulit. Taya! Teka lang, maglalakad muna ako dito. He said started small. Okay. So, dahil nga nababaliw si Lewis, doon sa psychiatrist na lang na nagnanarrate. Isipin mo yan, kahit sino ba naman hindi mababaliw yan, pinaglalakad mo ako sa
Imagining
maze.
a labyrinth.
Nasa labyrinth ako, tapos nag-aayos ako ng isda dito. Oh. Hindi ko nakita yan. Oh.
He'd feel his way about.
It really is about. Yan po, ah. So, parang nawawala si Lewis sa kawalan. Kahit ako mababaliw niyan eh. Pinaglalaro mo ako labyrinth, pinagpuputol mo ako ng isda, ulo ng isda.
Then something moved.
Then something moved.
Bats
Bats. Nakakakita na siya ng mga paniki, bro.
and toads.
Ano daw? And toad. Ayun na, nakakita na siya ng ano. Halimaw. Uya! Isa pa mong ano, 1 kilo parang tila, ano ba to? Bangus, tuna! Okay, nakakuha na siya ng dragon habang ako naghihiwa dito ng mga tuna, oh. Tuna ba to? O salmon? Hindi ko alam eh. Okay, nakakita
And
na ako
things
ng
that
dragon.
have not names.
And things that have not names. Nakakakita na siya ng monster. Ano, ikaw sa'yo, ate, anong gusto mo? Ilang kilo ba sa'yo? Tanggalin ko na ba yung hatak? 1 kilo, ikaw, anong order mo? Anong luto? Iwain ko na ba? O, sige. Teka lang, mga suki, ah. Medyo marami tayo, tinda ngayon, ha? Mga suki. Teka lang, easy lang. May nakalaban. O. Bangus ba
He
to?
knew it was all in his head.
Panggata daw. O sige, o hiwain to panggata. O meron din kami dyan sa kabilang ano ha, gulayan dyan. Baka kailangan nyo ng sahog. Okay? He knew he was at all he said daw. O guys, naglalaro pala tayo. Kala ko nagtitinda na ako dito eh.
But he took it very seriously.
Bakit? Ba't ito ko very seriously? Okay, o narinig nyo ha. O sa'yo, ate, anong order mo? O suki, halika na suki. Sardinas daw. O,
I had
sige.
hoped he'd find himself.
70 lang, 2 kilo na. Boneless sa'yo, boneless. O, sige, ito na. I hope, teka lang, hindi na natin naintindihan ang story. Nagbenta na tayo ng isda dito. I hope he find himself. Nabaliw si Lewis. Yun ang story. O, sige. Nabaliw siya, nabaliw. Okay. Ano, saan pa mga suki? Ano pa? Last call mga suki dahil magsasarado na ako. Gusto yung paninda ko ha. Fresh na fresh to. Galing sa dagat, suki.
But he found something more.
Oh, but he found something more. Uy, nakakita daw ako. Oh, after naman ng labyrinth, pag ano naman, no, pa 3D naman, napakaganda ng game na to, guys. Kasi kung makikita nyo, pa 3D naman, no, lahat na ng posisyon, gagawin ng game na to. Okay, okay.
I worried about him then.
I worried about them. Okay. Ang galing, no? Isipin mo, ang galing na nakaisip ng game na to. Pero yung brain natin, hindi kaya mag-multitask. So, magbebenta muna ako ng isda. Okay, guys, anong gusto nyo pagkain ng ulam nyo for today? Isda lang muna tayo, ah.
Daydreaming at the cannery.
Daydreaming at the cannery daw, bro. Okay?
I spoke with his boss,
I spoke with his boss.
but he said Lewis had become a model employee.
Okay, naging model
Methodical,
employee po ako.
tireless, focused.
Focus, syempre, talagang focus ka talaga. Pag naka-drug, nakapag, ang tawag doon, exercise. Focus ka talaga, focus. Hindi ka matutulog nun eh. Mga 5 araw kang di tulog nun, dilat ka lang, ganyan ka. Yan, focus ka talaga nun. Tireless, di ka din talaga mapapagod nun. Tapos, di ka natutulog.
Like a whole new Lewis.
Yan. Talagang magiging model siya sa ano yan. Isipin mo naman, lagi kang magtatrabaho araw-araw, 24/7, dilat na dilat mata
So
mo,
I let him
tapos
go
hindi
on.
ka napapagod. So I let him go. Saan ako? 1 kilo. O, sa'yo, suki. Anong gusto mo, suki? Oh, teka lang ha. Iwain ko na ba to? Tanggal ako ng hasang. Ayun, nakawala na
I
ako.
even encouraged him.
I even encourage him. Sige,
It seemed
encourage
very
mo lang
promising
si
at first.
Okay. I-encourage siya si Louis.
He told me he'd made a new friend.
Okay, nakakuha siya ng aso, bro.
On the
Namayas
edge of a
po
city
yan.
he named Louis Topia.
Dystopia, bro. Teka, asan ang daan na yun? Oh my god, ayun ang, isda. Nakakahanap
He
siya ng
built the
sarili
city
niyang
up slowly,
castle.
brick by brick.
Uy, ayos yun, oh. Isipin mo yun, sa sobrang kabaliwan niya, bro, gumawa siya ng sarili niyang mundo.
Then he made musicians.
Oh, he made musicians daw din. Oh. Oh, kaway-kaway, sabay-sabay, itaas ang kamay.
And songs for them to play.
And the songs they play. Oh, naging
He talked
pa
about
si Louis
starting a
dito.
band.
Itaas ang kamay, isayaw-sayaw.
And he was always humming something.
Uy, who's the boy pa? Okay. Dami niya na kaibigan, no? Parang naging sikat pa si
Every day
Louis
his
dito.
imagination grew stronger.
Okay. So, dahil nga hindi natutulog si Luis, 24/7 dilat ang kanyang mata at gumagayang-gayang pa, iba't ibang nakikita niya na, iba't ibang imagination na
He no
nakakaano
longer
niya.
spoke at the cannery,
He no longer knows po at akala
but his
nito.
chopping was as reliable as ever.
Oh, but his chopping was reliable is over. As ever
Then
pala.
one day it struck him
Then one day struck him.
that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination,
With all his imagination.
so he could do whatever he wished.
So he could do whatever he wished. Naging hari siya sa kanyang imagination. Nabaliw nga siya.
He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Oh, naglalakbay na ako sa karagatan. Ang galing, oh. Habang nag-aano pa rin ako ng isda.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on.
Naging ano na ako, mandaragat na ako, bro.
New Louisville,
Naging mangingisda na ako, bro.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, oh, babangga, babangga. Oh, liliko,
He started
liliko.
drifting
Yung
away
isda,
from our
teka lang.
reality.
Yung order, ito si Ale, ate. Starting drifting away from our reality. Nawala na siya sa kawalan, bro.
Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
Ah, nakalimutan niyang bumalik.
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
Oh, may nagsasalita pala. Anong order mo, te? Ah, si ate, yung nanay niya, kinakausap na siya pero wala siyang pakialam. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin siya ng pagtatrabaho.
In
Habang
Louisville,
nagtatrabaho
he
siya.
heard
ganyan.
rumors of a
Okay. Louis, he heard rumor. Handsome queen. Handsome queen. Beautiful prince. Handsome queen. Dito tayo sa handsome queen.
handsome queen.
Oh. Ano ba meron doon? Teka na, nagbago isip ko eh. Hindi ko tayo. Ay, hindi na pala pwede. Nangyari na. Naging handsome queen tayo. Girl, happy pride! Okay, month of June, bro.
The queen was on her own quest for
The queen was on her quest for radiant rainbows because happy pride month
radiant
this month.
rainbows.
Okay. Ano isda to? Salmon yata itong hiniwa ko. Ooh! Rainbow! Whee! Whee!
He
Whee!
followed the sound of her
Electric silver harp. I want silver harp. Whee!
silver harp.
Silver harp. Ay, naku po. Huwag natin dikitan yan. Makaka-copyright tayo yan. Iwasan na lang natin yung sounds na yan.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
Okay. He chased led his palace. Ang grabe naman yung
Even
pinagdaanan ni
then,
Luis.
his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Parang gumawa siya ng sarili niya. Isa ko habang gumagawa rin ng mga isda, no? Isipin mo yan.
But he was so
Naglalaro ako.
proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Oh, naging king pa siya sa sarili niyang mata. Habang nag-aayos ako ng mga isda dito.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming.
Nagkakapangasawa
And then it
kaya
struck
siya.
him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Di pala niya iniisip na nagkakat siya ng salmon. Kasi iniisip
My
niya
imagination
siya ang
is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Ako'y isang hari pala, yo. Yun. Ito si Luis. Dahil isa akong hari, kala niya yun yung nangyayari sa kanya. And kita mo, ang dami niyang, ayan o. Kita mo yun yan, imagination. Kapag hitit mo ng legalized marijuana, bro. Don't panic, it's
He
organic
began to
daw.
forget the world we know.
Oh my God. Sa sobrang kala niya, isa siyang hari. Ito,
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
I think it painted him to remember Louis the Canary Bird. Ano ginawa niya? Isipin mo yun, yung kakatrabaho mo lang, pero gusto mo na agad umalis sa
He
trabaho.
began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Ito, baka papatay niya to. Ay, kala niya kaharian yun, bro. Okay, bilang-bilang mo na siya. Ang dami mong binibilang, Sige, patangahan tayo dito. Ilan na nabibilang mo? Ilan na benta mo? High lang pala siya, bro. Kaya kala niya, pupunta din siya sa high. Ayan,
I still thought I could save him.
Umakyat siya sa chap-chapan ng salmon!
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
Umakyat siya. Sobrang nabaliw na siya. Ayun. Napunta
The
nga
palace
siya
would be packed with his companions.
kaharian. Kung ikaw ay masaya, pumalakpak ka. Kung ikaw ay masaya, kung ikaw ay masaya. Welcome! Huwag kayong mag-alala. Ako lang to, ako lang to, ako lang to, ako lang to
Including the wise
magpapakamatay.
calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Nagkasaltik siya, bro. Ako lang to! Kalma, kalma! Maraming salamat! Thank you for supporting my dad, bro! Thank you so much! See you on the heaven! Bye-bye! See you on heaven! See you on the other side! I will miss you all! I will miss every one of you! Gagraduate na ako pala.
His queen waited, holding his crown.
Pre, nakagraduate na ako, ikaw, hindi ka pa gumag-graduate, cutting ka kasi ng cutting eh. God, may baliw!
There was only one thing left to do.
There's one thing left to do. Sino mo yung itsura niyo, no? Chap-chapan yan, yo. Kita mo, chap-chapan ng
Bend
isda
down his
yan.
head.
Ay, nilagay niya yung ulo niya sa chap-chapan ng salmon. Ayan o. Ayan o. Kala niya, dun sa chap ng salmon, isusuot niya yung corona. Tanga nga! Bye-bye! See you! Paalam sa'yo, Nara! Cum laude siya ngayon, bro. Bend down his head. Ayan o, tsapa na salmon yan, di ba? Kita mo, ayan na. Binin niya nga ang ulo niya dun.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Ayun, nabaliw siya. Patay. Ayun ang pagkamatay
My brother
ni
was
Lewis.
really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Ito. Pero ganun ang bahay nila, in fairness. I like their house. Kasi ang daming pasikot-sikot and mga secret door.
She
Ayun.
waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
And she waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Ah, dito pa lang yung kwarto ni Edie. Okay. Kasi parang ngayon pa lang nila sasabihin.
I wish we'd stayed.
I wish we stayed.
But I understand why we left.
Okay.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
Iniwan ng nanay niya lahat.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
Ah, hindi.
Maybe it should
Kwarto
have
niya
come
na to.
sooner.
Si Edith. Kwarto niya na to. Ito na kwarto niya. Ganda na kwarto niya. Oh.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now was to tell you about that last night.
Ay, naging bata siya. Ay, hindi. Gumagapang siya. Uy, may ano yung feather? Ayun na. Edith Finch.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
To our final night
Ayan,
together.
ito pala si Edie.
And all our final nights.
Tatlo na lang sila natira.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are
Edith,
very
I
specific.
left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our
I'm
last...
not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Nag-aaway yung nanay tsaka lola niya. Yung lola niya tsaka yung nanay
the
niya
power had been
nag-aaway.
shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles.
Okay.
When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance.
When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about other entrance, okay?
Or that Edie had a key to it.
Or had Edie had cookie on it. Naku po. Bago sila umalis, kasi ito na yung time na aalis na sila ng bahay. Tapos iiwan nila lahat at ayaw umalis ng lola
The thing
nila.
you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house.
The thing you're afraid is going to end when you leave the house. Totoo ba yun? Kumbaga, parang naniniwala yung lola niya na
Edith
kapag...
has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories.
Oh my God.
I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight.
Okay. Nagkatalo yung nanay at lola niya.
We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Ay, dadaling sa yung sa matatanda. Kasi ayaw maniwala ng nanay niya dun sa story ni Eddie. Si Eddie yung lola nila. Okay. Eto na. The history of the Finches. Titingnan natin kung ano ba talaga history ng kanununuan nila. Bakit lahat ng pamilya nila namamatay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
Ayun.
That night, The tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life.
So parang, ito na kinukwento na ng lola niya bago pa
But I never
pinanganak
thought I'd go
si
back
Edith.
to it.
Ay, ito na mapupuntahan natin yung
When
ilaw.
the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Pupuntahan niya yung umiilaw na yun pero sobrang daming pag nawala yung
I
daan
got
niya.
turned around.
Sobrang low tide eh. Kanina 'di ba may mga tubig yung sa telescope natin. Pero dahil nga ito yung kaunahan ng
For a
low tide.
while, I wondered. I started seeing things.
Nakakalta na rin siya. Ito yung umiilaw kanina. I start seeing
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
things I forgot that ever existed. Uy, may
But
kama.
when I saw them, they felt like old friends.
Okay.
That night, a lot of things came back to me.
Okay. Pumalik sa kanya yung mga...
Or maybe I came back to them.
Okay. Bahay pala to. Bahay.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go.
Ay, nagtalo sila ng nanay niya.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot.
Ay, ang galing
We
mo.
both
Ako
tried to make the
nagkocontrol,
best
oh.
of it.
So kasi, dahil nga tatatalo sila and ayaw malaman ng nanay niya yung kwento na yun,
A few years went by.
umalis sila. Ay, ang galing!
My mom
Jeez.
didn't like to talk about it,
My mom didn't like to talk about it.
but she started getting sick a lot.
Ah, nagkasakit yung
The
nanay
rest
niya.
happened pretty quickly.
Namatay din. Diyos ko, Lord.
She got better for a while,
Si
and
Don,
then she didn't.
namatay din sa
And
sakit
then I
ng
was
nanay
alone.
niya. Siya na lang natira.
The last Finch left alive.
The last Finch left alive.
Until I found out about you.
Oh, bakit naman ako kasama dyan? Until I
I'm
found
still
about
not sure
you.
what to tell you about all this.
Oh. Huwag mo na kami
If we
kidamay
lived
dito.
forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things.
We live
But
forever.
as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes
Open our eyes.
and appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
Tama. Let's appreciate everything. What we have. Correct. Kasi, gusto ko yan. Let's appreciate
This journal was supposed to be for you.
the journal is was to be... Anong ako? Huwag mo na kami isama dito! Baka sabihin mo, mamatay din kami dyan. Anong journal para sa akin? Para sa yan! This journal was supposed to be you.
But now I hope you'll never see it.
But now I hope you'll never see it. Shit.
I just want to meet you
I just wanna meet you. You just wanna meet me? Yeah, I'm Shola, hey.
And tell you all these stories myself.
Sige, just talk to me. What is your problem? Baka ako susunodin mo, ha?
But I guess if you're reading this now,
But I guess, if you're reading this now, hindi ko binabasa. Daw marunong magbasa ng basa dyan.
things didn't work out that way.
Hindi ko mabasa. Ang basa? Hindi ko basa. Ang basa niyan. Hindi na ako marunong magbasa simula ngayon. Ngayon ko na nalaman na para akong manganganak na si Edith! Eto na, lalabas na ako. Mama Didi!
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it.
Ay,
It's a
namatay
lot
din
to
siya.
ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Ay, namatay din si Edith at natira ang kanyang anak na lalaki. Lahat, ang pamilya, mga tanga, namatay silang lahat. Ayun ang story ng pamilya Finch. A story by Giant Sparrow for Shirley Dallas. Ay, di pa tapos. Hindi siya true story, guys. I think. Simula kalulolohan niya, tito, nanay niya, lola niya, kapatid niya, namatay sa wag natin sabihin na kaagnatan nila. Kasi namatay lang talaga sila. Pero kasi, bakit ka mag-swing ng ganong kalakas ng 360 ka tatanong pa ganun? Mamamatay ka talaga dun. Pero yung risk ng satisfaction ng isang tao, kaya nila nagagawa yun. Parang hindi sila nakakaramdam ng takot eh. Hindi sila natatakot na paano kapag masugatan ako dun. Kasi yung isa nga nagduduyan, puro may pilay na siya, mayroon pa siyang ganun. Pero ang gusto niya lang naman lumipad. Eh di lumipad siya, ayun, patay. 'Di ba? Lahat namatay. Meron tayong di ko lang alam kung bakit may mga nawawalang katulad nung isa, si Barbara. Nawala siya, 'di ba? Tapos yung isa naman, nag-jump shot bago mamatay. Hindi ko alam bakit siya nag-jump shot. Pero sobrang ganda ng experience sa paglalaro ko ng What Remained of Edith Finch. Kasi lahat ng story na yun, ako pa rin yung naglalaro eh. Simula sa mga comic book, di ba? Habang nag-i-story sila, meron ka pa rin, meron ka pa rin perspective no, ikaw pa rin yung papalo, ikaw pa rin yung maglalakad. Sa lahat nung naging kwento, ikukwento lang nila kung ano yung story and mapupunta ka lang dun sa may dimension na yun. Pero ikaw pa rin yung magko-control ng lahat. So, ang ganda for me. 10 out of 10. Yan. 10 out. Nag-day lang pa ako kasi baka mamatay ako eh kapag di ko sinabi. Pero honest review, napakaganda. Guys, anong masasabi nyo sa game na to? Maganda ba siya? Anong comment nyo. Pero, big shoutout sa Annapurna Interactive. Napakaganda ng mga games nila. And thank you din kay Mai dahil pinalaro niya sa akin tong game niya. Actually, nag-sale kasi yung Annapurna kanina. Last May 31, hindi ko nakabili kasi wala akong pera. Kaya sa mga supporter badge natin, maraming salamat sa mga nag-send ng stars. Boss Jeffrey Bangan yan, baka mag-send ka ng stars dyan. Pero well play, ang ganda na story. Kahit na-copyright tayo and ang ganda nung nila credits, lahat ng mga baby pictures nila nilagay nila. Ganda.